Hello everyone and welcome to my new video. In this video, we will create a brochure or threefold in the Adobe InDesign. This will be a two-part tutorial. In the first part we will make the exterior, and in the second part, the inside of the brochure. Just to note that Adobe is not a sponsor of this video. In the description down below, you can find a link to download the complete material to make it easier to follow this tutorial. So let's get started. When we click on the New File button, the Document Setup window will appear, where we will select the A5 brochure format on the Print tab. Then we will change the units to millimeters, and here we see the format of our brochure. Since it is a threefold, we need 6 pages. Turn off the Facing Pages option, and the orientation will be Portrait. We will set the margins to about 10 mm, and while the Make All settings the same option is enabled, if we press the tab, the margins will be the same everywhere. We will set the bleed to 5 mm, press tab again, and I can also turn on the preview option so that, before I click on the Create button, we can see how our document will look. After that we click on the Create button. We will set the workspace to Essentials, and if it is not set that way, you can choose that option. Eventually, you can press Reset Essentials to get the same program interface as you see in this tutorial. As we know, this document has 6 pages, which you can see in the Pages panel. Using the Pages panel, we will additionally edit the layout of the pages. When I click on Options, we will turn off Allow Document Pages to Shuffle, and then we are going to drag page number 2 to page 1, page 3 to page 2, page 5 to page 4, and page 6 to page 5. When I zoom in we will see the outside, and the inside of the threefold brochure. In this tutorial, therefore, we will create the outer side, and in the continuation of this tutorial, that is, in the second part, we will also create the inner side of our brochure. I remind you that all the material will be available for download in the link in the description of this video. Before we start any work, we'll take a look at our rough sketch, which looks something like this. So this is the front page, this is the back page, and this is the fold-in page. The X-marked rectangles will be images while the horizontal lines represent text. Guided by the sketch, we will draw the elements, which we will later fill in with images and text. We will select the Rectangle Frame tool, and we will draw a rectangle, which will be the size of our page, and which will contain the main image. What we actually want to do here is to enlarge this frame to the size of the bleed area. We will select the Rectangle Frame tool again, and then draw another frame starting from the bleed area, let's say like this. We will consult the sketch, and we see that on the inside we have 4 images. Let's draw 4 more rectangles. If we want to draw 2 frames that will be at the same distance, hold down the mouse button while drawing the frame, then press the up arrow, and we got 2 frames. Once we have done that, we can add a text frame, let's say like this, and 2 more text frames in the lower part of the back page. If we want to draw two frames at once, while holding down the mouse button, and while we are in the drawing phase, I press the right arrow. Now I have a general layout, i.e. arranged elements that I will fill with photos, which are located in this working folder that you downloaded from the link in the video description. The first thing we're going to do is solve the front page. There are two ways we can do this. The first is with the help of Windows Explorer. Let's go to the Images folder. While this frame is active, I select an image, drag, and the image will be drawn into this frame. As you can see, the images are of high resolution and quality. They exceed the limits of the frame itself, so we have to zoom out, and then double-click on the frame, in order to see the frame of the image itself. I'm holding Shift, so that we can scale it proportionally, without accidentally deforming it. To zoom, press the Alt button and move the wheel on the mouse. We can also use the keyboard shortcuts Ctrl+ or Ctrl-. Let's say that we don't want to place the whole image in the middle, but only one part of it. As long as this orange frame is active, it means that we can distribute the image within the drawn frame. When we click on the side, we will see how this image of ours is arranged. Another way to insert an image into a document is the Place command. First, we select the frame in which we want to insert the image. From the File drop-down menu, select the Place option. We locate the folder with images and select this image. We click on Open, and the image is automatically arranged in the middle of the frame. The principle for editing is the same. By double-clicking on the frame, we get the picture frame. Then hold Shift and scale it proportionally. We can drag it to the desired position. If we double-click on this lower control square, the frame will simply adjust to the size of the image itself. We want the image to go all the way to the edge of the fold, so we'll enlarge it a little more. Then we will increase the frame to the edge of our bleed. Once we've done that, we'll draw a rectangle that will follow the edges of this back side, up to the bleed line. In the Properties option, we will remove the outline or stroke. We click on the Stroke option box and select None. Next, we will select the Color Theme tool. We're going to click somewhere on the background of this image, we're going to select this dark olive green, and we're going to click on our drawn rectangle. By right-clicking the mouse in the context menu, we will select the Arrange, Send to Back option. The image already has transparency in the lower part, so it blends in nicely with this background. Now we will insert additional images with the command, File, Place. You will notice that not a single frame is selected, which allows us to, when we import the image, define some of its size by clicking and dragging. We will delete this frame, adjust the image at the top of this inner page, that is, the page that folds, to the edges of the margins. In order to proportionally enlarge both the image and the frame, hold down Ctrl on the keyboard and then Shift at the same time, then scale the image proportionally to the edges of the margins. We will select these two bottom frames, simply reduce them a bit and place them below the image. We will also delete this frame because we don't need it now to insert the next image. When we click and drag, we will simply crop the image, or frame. If we click twice on the frame, we see that there is a photo that we can adjust within our frame. We will do the same with the two remaining images that will be found on this page. File Place. We can select multiple images and insert them into our document at once. It is enough just to click the mouse and drag as many times as we want to insert the images into the document. When we hold down Shift, we can select multiple frames, that is, elements. Enlarge these frames a bit and adjust them by double-clicking on the frame. We will adjust the position of this photo within the frame by dragging. We will do the same with this photo below. I hold Shift to increase it proportionally. We can additionally edit these spaces between frames. One of the simplest ways to have the same spacing everywhere can be simply drawing a square. Select the rectangle tool, hold Shift and Ctrl to draw a square. With it, we can check if the spaces are equal and, guided by that, additionally edit the frames. We move on to inserting text. You will copy the text from the file Brochure text. We will select the text under the back side section. Let's say this is the title. We select the desired text. We will use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+C. Let's go back to our InDesign document, select this text frame, and with the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+V, insert the text for the title. We will use the Audi type font. Bold variant. Next, we'll set it to size 18. If I double-click on this bottom control point, the frame will be spread to the height of the text. Here we will draw another text frame, to insert some additional text. Ctrl+C, Ctrl+V. We will choose a font size of 12. Myriad Pro. We will set the text alignment to the full width of the column. By double-clicking, we will reduce the text frame to the height of this text. We'll use this title by pressing Alt on the keyboard and then dragging the mouse down. We will select this title from the text document. Double-click to edit the text within this frame. We select everything, press Ctrl+V, and as you can see, the inserted text has retained the properties of this previous title. We will reduce these two extra frames. We will repeat the procedure with this text as well. Hold Alt and Shift at the same time, so that there is no movement. Let's drop that text frame and repeat the procedure. Let's select this lower text, Ctrl+C. Let's select this text, Ctrl+V. To select both text frames, hold Shift and drag them down a bit. We can add a single line that separates these two segments. Select the line tool, drag with the mouse and hold down Shift to make the line straight. We can paint it white by clicking on this square, and choosing paper. When we click on the side, we will see that the line is colored white. All that's left is to enter the contact information. Let's go back to the text document. We select Contact Data, Ctrl+C. Ctrl+V. We will select only this text. We're going to choose the Myriad Pro font and I want it to be the bold variant, because that's important information. For the title contact, we will choose Audi type. One press of the Enter key will separate it from the current text. Then we will increase it to size 14. We see that our email address has not been distributed correctly here. Drag the text frame so that the email address fits in one line. We will also reduce this form a little and select the remaining contact information. Double-click. We will press the Enter key on the numeric part of the keyboard to create a paragraph break. Press Ctrl+V. We can edit that text a little more. Let's set the size to 11. Then reduce the space between the letters. We will additionally edit these frames to distribute email addresses a little better. We can press Enter a couple of times here to get our text line straight. Also, we can add one line here. Click, hold Shift, drag, release the left mouse button. Let's place a line in the middle. Just select Stroke, select the paper and we got a white line. Let's say we want this title to be red. We will select the entire text of the title, then click on the Fill option and select the red color. This text will be white. In the Fill option for the previously selected text, I choose Paper. Let's do the same with this title text. We will repeat the procedure for this lower text and paint it white. Select all these elements by holding Shift. And take it all down a bit. Hold Shift, click and drag. However, this red color doesn't go well with this dark background, so we are going to paint it white anyway. We have some extra points here that we don't need. To move the text to the bottom line, just press Enter on the keyboard. We will do the same with contact information. We will paint them white. This way we have a good contrast between the text and the background. We still have to set the logo. We have the logo in vector format and can place it in two ways. Use the File Place command to find the Vector Logos folder. We select the Audi logo, which is in the Adobe Illustrator file type. Click Open, and click Anywhere, and that's how we entered the logo into our document. Another way is to open the Illustrator file Audi logo in Illustrator. Then select it, press Ctrl+C, return to InDesign, press Ctrl+V. This is how we entered the logo into our document. We can further scale it by holding down the Ctrl and Shift keys and then dragging the mouse diagonally. We will do the same with the label A6. We select, press Ctrl C, go back to InDesign, press Ctrl V, and we have added the car type label. We will scale the logo as desired, but do not forget that the logo is scaled only diagonally in combination with dragging the mouse while the Ctrl and Shift keys are pressed. We will draw one line and color it red. Select these three elements, the logo, the line, and the mark of the car type. Hold Shift, drag, and place this selection in the middle of the front. We will select the Type Text tool. Here we will create a frame for the text. We will write, for example, visit us online, www.audi.com. We'll zoom in to see what's going on here. Select the text and color it white. We will extend this frame a little further down. Choose Myriad Pro for the above text, bold variant. Let's say size 14. For the website we will choose Audi type on size 18. The arrangement of the text can be set to the central block or to the right. There is an empty space left, here on this part. We will shrink the text frame and then simply copy this logo. Select the logo, hold down Alt and drag. We will place the copied logo below this text. Just because we copied the vector drawing from the Illustrator itself, we can add or remove elements in InDesign. We will hide the Audi printout and leave only these circles. By double-clicking on a vector drawing, we access its elements. We select what we want to remove and press Delete on the keyboard. Remember, double-click on the desired element and then delete. Once we are happy with that, we can make this logo a little bigger. In this way, we solved that empty space in the lower part of the back page. To see what our brochure looks like without all these guidelines, we will go to the View option and select Preview. As you can see, the outside of the brochure is finished. In the second part of this tutorial, we will see how we can solve the inside of the brochure and deal a little more with the text and the table. Guided by the second sketch, we will arrange the elements according to the design. Write in the comments if you want a more detailed explanation, and see you in the next video.